Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and in today's video we are going through my Spider-Man Cinematic Universe Phase 4, which will conclude the brand new story setup in Phase 3. If you enjoy all types of Spider-Man content, then make sure to subscribe for future videos. Also, if you'd like awesome No Way Home merch and content, links are in the description to get yours now. With that being said, let's get straight into the video. The first film in the phase won't actually be a Spider-Man film, but will continue the Silver Sable story and will be Sable and the city that never sleeps. This film will be Sable finding herself without Felicia, since them two have been fighting crime for the last several years. Sable now works for SHEILD, and this movie will be a fun spy thriller. We will also introduce Eddie Brock as a reporter in this movie who would like to catch Silver Sable for an interview, as he has started to work for the Daily Bugle. Agent Venom will also make another appearance and will actually be the villain of this film. The Venom symbiote seems to be getting out of control, and SHEILD and Flash Thompson can no longer detain it themselves. The symbiote ends up getting away by the end of the film and attaching to Eddie Brock in the post-credits scene. The next film in the phase will be the Superior SpiderMan. After the events of the second Clone Saga movie, the Doc Ock, as the public know, is finally dead, and we are introduced to Doc Ock as Peter Parker. This film will be fulfilling Peter's character flaw in the Clone Saga. Doc Ock will prove that Peter could live up to his potential and be better, the Superior Spider-Man. Ock will completely eliminate all character flaws that Peter has. However, this massive change in personality starts to strain Peter's and MJ's relationship. Peter, for a brief period of time, will split with MJ and get with someone known as Anne-Marie, who then helps him build the company Parker Industries, in what will represent Peter's potential that he fails to achieve. Doc Ock's ego fully takes over here, and this film will be as much as a movie about showing Peter's character flaws, as well as a character study for Doc Ock. His hubris finally comes to the forefront. We're thrown fully into the action when MJ senses something suspicious and starts to do a bit of digging, and fully realizes Ock's plan from the very beginning. On the news, she sees that Spider-Man starts killing people, as this solidifies her findings, that this is not Peter Parker. J. Jonah Jameson is reintroduced as a main character in this film, as he becomes really successful, finally reaping the rewards about being right about Spider-Man all this time. We also see Peter get new upgraded high-tech suits like the big time suit, stealth suit, etc, but MJ wants her Peter back, the one that she has grew to love. And there is only one man that can help her, and of course, it's Ben Reilly. MJ will contact Ben Reilly for help, as he's the only one who understands Peter like no other, since he is him. The film will then have Ben Reilly face up against the Superior Spider-Man in one epic conclusion to the Clone Saga story, as it all comes full circle. Doc Ock is eventually defeated, and he fully realizes his ego and hubris. And as a man of honor and intelligence, he gives Peter his body back, in which Peter Parker finally returns, his consciousness back in the body that it belongs in. Ben Reilly says his goodbyes to everyone, saying that if you ever need help again, he's always around the corner. Peter appreciates this as he leaves once again. At the end of the film, Mary Jane reveals that she is pregnant with Peter's baby, leaving us on a cliffhanger for the next film. We move on to the next film in the phase, which will be Venom. This film will focus on Eddie Brock, who is trying to live out his life being a reporter and who is on the run from SHEILD, as they're trying to track down the symbiote. However, the symbiote and Eddie Brock bond with each other in a way like no other. We find out a lot about the symbiote in this film, that due to its nature it felt mistreated when as Agent Venom. It couldn't live its life how it wanted. I imagine this dynamic very similar to Tom Hardy's Venom in that movie. This movie will almost carry elements of a romance, as Eddie and the Venom symbiote become quite acquainted with one another. This leads them to fighting with all their might not to be captured by SHEILD. The film ends with Venom hiding in New York when something starts to happen. The symbiote spawns another, a devilish red color. And that's when we move on to the next Spider-Man movie of the fourth trilogy, and that's Spider-Man Maximum Venom, which will see Peter Parker back in his body for good. This film will be all about repairing Peter's and MJ's relationship, whilst dealing with the revelation that MJ is pregnant. We now fall into a period in Peter's life where he starts to feel like being Spider-Man will affect the fatherhood of his soon-to-be child. The question that will ponder Peter in this film, and the overall theme, will be, can he do this forever? What is the limit? Cletus Cassidy will be introduced in this film as a mass serial killer and will eventually become Carnage. There is no motivation other than destruction. This will be the Joker of this universe. Pure chaos will ensue. And this will be the film where Peter meets Eddie Brock, who now dons the Venom symbiote as an anti-hero. Someone that kills and feasts off people but does it for the greater good. Peter won't be fond of Eddie at first, as he's had bad experiences with the symbiote before, but Peter will learn throughout the film to accept Venom. Eddie and Peter will have to team up to defeat Carnage as he's too powerful. Cletus wants to torment Spider-Man as he knows he can't get to him. He wants to play with him like a puppet, and therefore Cletus will kill Aunt May in this film, ripping an integral part of what makes Peter whole away forever. This enrages Peter, however they won't win, and Peter and Eddie will lose to the serial killer. Peter lets his emotions get the better of him, which gives him no tactical chance of beating Carnage. At the end of the film, Carnage learns how to spawn more symbiotes, but on a mass level, in which will give us Symbiote City, and setting us up for a mass finale. The next film in the trilogy will be Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. With Peter and MJ's baby on the way, can Peter fight off his biggest threat yet? This film will feel like a big event. All the storylines involving Venom and Peter all wrap up into this one film. The symbiotes will be taking over and it will have an apocalyptic feel, almost like we're thrown into a zombie apocalypse. Although Peter has distanced himself from Parker Industries, as that's a reminder of what happened with Doc Ock, he still can use the resources to try and help aid the city in their fight against the symbiotes. Therefore, also wrapping up the Doc Ock story, bringing that one full circle into this film as well. And with this film being the 12th Spider-Man film in the franchise, I feel like we have to do something different every once in a while due to not repeating the same formula over and over again. This film will be an event film, similar to Avengers Infinity War, in a sense that it will feel like there is a world-ending stake. New York is now encompassed with symbiotes and it's infecting people on a mass level, with Carnage at the center of everything. There will be multiple scenes where MJ and Peter contemplate what to do and how to go about it. MJ is getting closer to giving birth to their child every single day that goes by. The symbiotes start to get out of control. When Peter tries to call on Felicia for help, she has been taken away by the symbiote as well, creating Symbiote Black Cat. In an intense scene, Sable will finally track down Venom and get really angry, exclaiming that it's all his fault. Peter has to calm the situation down as Eddie starts to get really angry. Nothing of the past matters, even with SHEILD, with Sable, with Agent Venom, nothing. All that matters is that they defeat Carnage. Sable will say that after all of this is done, that she is definitely not done with him. We've also got to remember that Sable is put under mass stress knowing that Felicia has become one of them as well. She still cares heavily about Felicia, and that arc will also come full circle here as well. MJ decides to call on Ben Reilly, and Ben joins the group of Peter, Eddie, and Sable. They split up into two groups. Sable and Ben go to SHEILD HQ to inquire to Nick Fury about trying to come up with a cure to destroy the symbiotes. Nick says that they can't risk losing the asset, but Sable and Ben say that it's not worth the risk keeping it around if this is what it's capable of. Spider-Man and Venom will track down Carnage while the others work on a cure. The infection gets that bad that the symbiotes even reach SHEILD HQ and start invading it during the final act. It gets that severe that even Ben Reilly succumbs to the symbiotes, and we're given some variation of Spider Carnage. This movie really will have everything. The movie concludes with an epic final battle between Carnage, Venom, and Spider-Man, whilst a cure is released over the city in the nick of time. Carnage is defeated, but in the process, so is Venom. Venom is eradicated forever, as the symbiote rips from Eddie's skin. The film ends with Peter and MJ's baby being born. It's a girl, and they name her after Aunt May, May Parker. Eddie gets a job in San Francisco at a big news company and bids his farewell as well. Sable carries on working for SHEILD. Ben Reilly reveals that he has someone back home that's waiting for him, revealing a mystery partner. And Felicia returns back to her normal life after being parted with the symbiote. And the film's ending scene is Peter asking MJ if she'll marry him, in what is clear, his endgame. And whether he'll carry on being Spider-Man is not known. We have a post-credits scene, however, of a boy experimenting with his newfound spider powers. His name? Miles Morales. So let's run through the shows in this phase really quickly then, shall we? So the first show in this phase will be NYC Call and Rescue Season 3, which will follow the events of what the police force were up to during Phase 4. This season will also cross over with Spider-Man Maximum Carnage as the police try to deal with the symbiote outbreak. I imagine this part of the show being something like The Walking Dead, which would be pretty cool. The next show in the phase will be Morbius Season 2, revealing more about his powers and exploring the character even more. The show will end with Morbius moving to New York, potentially setting up a crossover in the future. The last show in the phase will be a Kraven the Hunter prequel show, which will show Kraven before his villain role in Phase 2. This will expand the character and will be purely for character expansion only. So that is it for Phase 4 of my Spider-Man Cinematic Universe. If you did enjoy, make sure to let me know by hitting that like button and also commenting down below what you thought of this phase. I saw someone ranking the phases on my last video in Phase 3, and I would really love it if you guys would do the same on this video. Just tell me which one's your favorite phase out of the 4, which one have you enjoyed the most? If you would also like a Phase 5 where we continue the story with Miles Morales and Mayday Parker going into what is definitely the next generation of this Spider-Man Cinematic Universe, then let me know in the comments section as well. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for future Spider-Man content and hit the bell as well. And also, if you want awesome No Way Home t-shirts or even the Blu-rays, make sure to click the links in the description down below to get your own. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care and peace.